It's always great to have a backup just in case. I'm going to talk about one such situation and my solution coming up. The other night, I had a table of probably 8 men who had just played golf and they were drinking. I was performing a card trick, and as I was proceeding to the grand finale, the big unveil, there was one guy, I'm going to call him the alpha male. There's usually somebody in every group like this, the one that kind of dominates the conversation, who's the center of attention. He wasn't being rude or anything, he had been drinking, but he was kind of loud and constantly drawing attention to himself. Well, anyway, I was ready to unveil a card, and the guy kept yelling, "I want the 8 of clubs." And this is just a card he just pulled out of nowhere. He wanted the 8 of clubs. So he says it once, and then the guy says it again. I need the 8 of clubs. So finally, on the third time, I had to do something. The guy says, "How about that 8 of clubs?" And I said, "Oh, yes, sir, 8 of clubs. I'm glad you happened to mention that. In my back pocket, I keep a wallet. And inside of my wallet, I have a zippered compartment. Inside the zippered compartment, there happens to be a playing card. And wouldn't you know it, sir, I'm so glad you requested this, the 8 of clubs." The guy's face just kind of went slack. You live for these moments as a magician. It wasn't like me versus him, but he kind of got quiet and laughed and enjoyed the rest of the set, I think. So it was a fun situation. Once in a while, these things arrive. Somebody picks a card. They honestly don't remember the card, or they're trying to follow you up and they state a card that's different. It's always great to have a backup. So obviously, I'm using a technique by the specific technique I use is by Mr. Mullica, and I found his technique and prop to work best for my situations. It's not perfect, but it has its own advantages as well as one small disadvantage. But I own three of his kits to perform this effect, and it's worked well for me over the years. Earlier on, I used a technique by Mr. Mullica, and that served me well, but eventually I went to the Mullica technique once my sleight of hand was a little stronger and I could do the necessary moves and such under almost any situation. Let me add one more thing, that in my earliest days when my sleight of hand wasn't up to snuff, I used to do a trick as a backup. I'd carry it with me where a spectator could name any card, and voila, the card happened to be reversed in a deck of cards. And that gets an equally good reaction. It means I had to carry, of course, another deck around and such, but I prefer the wallet method. And just one more thought on this topic while we're talking. I carry the wallet around with me only during gigs. I don't carry the wallet as my daily wallet with credit cards and money and such. I know some magicians do carry a wallet around that is the regular wallet as well as for performing the trick, but I've seen magicians who are going to do the effect and then they bring out this wallet that's all sweat stained and worn and such, and so that's why I've always dedicated a wallet for the effect that I only use at gigs. That said, I'm starting to look at my wallet and it's been used so much over the last 4 years during hours and hours of gigs that it's actually starting to look a little tattered, and perhaps it's time for me to be looking at replacing it with one of the newer models I have as backup, and retire this one and only bring it out if I need it for a particular situation. Anyway, if you have questions about the effect, I didn't want to talk much more about it without revealing anything. Feel free to email me and I'll do my best to answer your questions. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. We'll have more of these vlogs in the future. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.